Yeah. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sridhar's newsletter and our show called Minimalist Techie. Thanks for you being here and I appreciate you being here so we can connect weekly on interesting topics. You can add your email ID here so you can directly get the post into your inbox. Do subscribe to the show Minimalist Techie or Apple Podcasts, Spotify or YouTube. And I have these links in the show notes as well. You can just click on them or you can directly come to my website sridhargarikipati.substack.com. You can directly listen on the site on your phone, on your laptop, wherever you're interested. This weekly newsletter is mostly about the article, books, or videos, etc., which I read or watch, or my views on different topics, which revolves around my head during the week. So today's article or today's podcast is about why so few tech jobs for the recent grad or post grads. To set the scene, see, for years the students have been told by these big tech companies since 2010 onwards, learn to code, get a computer science degree, and once you get a computer science degree, you graduate or you postgraduate, you're guaranteed to get a six-figure job, 100K salary. But today, many STEM grad students are actually struggling to find a full-time tech jobs. So I'm talking about the kids who are graduating, the US citizens who are actually graduating from the US. Maybe it's applicable to other countries as well. And many developed countries, not just US, but today we are covering mostly in the US aspect of it because majority of the Silicon Valley is sitting in the US. So let's talk more from a impact from a US perspective. So what are we going to cover is the big tech, the big promise versus the reality. What is the current data show over the last decade? How entry level tech hiring has been reduced and why companies demand very high experience from the newcomers. What is the role of artificial intelligence in shifting the landscape? Or what grads or postgrads and the educational systems can do differently where the technology changes much faster than the curriculum at the schooling system, right? See, this isn't about pointing fingers, but diagnosing a systematic mismatch that's affecting the whole generation of the new professionals from the US economy. At the same time, many international students, without knowing what's going on in the US tech market, they're coming since last 4 years. There's pretty high rise in number of students who came in on the international student visas without knowing the actual US economy or US job market and what's happening in the tech field here, right? So this is for everyone from a US. If you're studying in US or you're actually coming from an international student perspective. Again, no pinpointing, just diagnosing since last 10 years, right? So let's talk about the big tech, the big promise, and the narrative which has been sold to over a decade. The messaging for over a decade, more than a decade now, 15 years, since 2010, 2012 onwards, the tech giants like Microsoft, Google, right, Facebook, right, they have everyone told that if you learn coding is like having a superpower in your hands, in your mind. If you know how to write a code, it's like you're having a superpower in your hand because you can actually gonna come if you're able to write the code, you can complete your computer science graduation, then you can going to get 100K six-figure salary, which is a pretty good starting salary for any undergrad, right? Any grad student. So the tech giants have sent a message at a pretty high level. Coding boot camps, even the schools have promoted the message that anyone who learns to code can break into the tech. And tech looks very high promising from a six figure salary perspective, 100K, 200K, 350K, 500K, right? See, at school or a college level, many students have actually built many apps. They're doing side projects, they're learning JavaScript, Python pretty early. I know personally, 2015, 2017, 2018 as well, kids are learning how to write. Developing a Power BI, developing a Power BI reports, W reports is a piece of cakewalk for a high school student right now, right? So what happened? They had given such a big promise, yeah? But there is a recruitment twist. However, when it comes to recruitment, the same big tech companies, when they start hiring, companies becomes extremely selective. They are very picky. They prefer candidates with the years of experience and internship from a top places or very exceptional portfolio. Yes, I'm not denying that US companies are not giving internship. Yes, they are giving internship, but post internship, where is the full time job? There is no full time job. The reason is the companies are so selective, so picky that it creates a paradox for anyone. Companies expect people to have a 10 plus years of experience. Any job posting by the big tech companies, you can clearly see no grad, post grad students is gonna clear those interviews at all. The bar is set so high, not just big tech, even you come to the two tier technology companies as well. The bar is set so high that the job description, the roles and responsibilities, the 10 bullet points, what they list under a role, is something only a skilled professional who is having a more than 10 years of experience can pull it off, right? So companies have sold this a big message that learn how to write a code, you're gonna get a job, but all their hiring is having a complete twist to it, right? Which means they expect people to have a 10 plus years of experience, but they don't give a real entry level opportunities for these grad or post grad students to gain that 10 years of experience. The companies are forgetting that, yes, they feel like they're inventing a rocket science here. Guys, seriously, no. Anything in the tech world, if you put an effort of 3 to 5 years, you're gonna master that skill set. That's period. Yes, there are few very senior high professionals sitting in that Google, sitting in that in Microsoft, in Apple, right? Those top core 100 developers, 200 developers, I agree that there you need to be in a very exceptional working in Tesla work, right? I can understand that you need an exceptional skill set, but if you leave that aside, anything else, you get into this job, learn 2 years, 3 years, you become a mid-level expert. By 5 years of experience, pick any field: data science, application development, right? Mobile development, cloud technologies, doesn't matter. Within a 5 years, a person can become a rock solid. You can keep on growing in the same. If you got into cybersecurity, you can grow your 3 years into 5 years into 8 into 10. But the companies are not ready to convert those internship jobs into a full-time jobs. That's a bigger issue actually, right? That's a recruitment twist. That's what the companies are creating the issue, and this is creating an impact and a perception on the student's mind. See, many students start doubting their own path. They feel very disillusioned because they're completing their grad, they're moving to these bigger cities and unable to find a job. Yeah, a US citizen who has completed a grad, post grad, what these companies have promised, spent lot of tuition fees in order to get those grad and post grad, and now finally the message what they're sending to the current generation is, the narrative which they're passing is the system is broken, right? And it is getting into so high level, even the international students are coming, They are also not going getting the job since last 4 years. You can look into the market trend, and we have data points to support all this. This not like we are simply pinpointing. And companies are hiring uh, still only experienced professionals. Yes, because you're not hiring your own US grads and post grads or international grads or international post grad students, right? You're not giving entry level positions at all. Yes, then everyone is treating like, yes, my job is like rocket level science. Yeah, so you need to have that level of skill set. No, none of you. We are not building a spacecraft here, guys. We are not building something on a Power BI application or Tableau applications which will make you land on a moon. No, right? And we do have all the data points to sell it. I'm gonna pinpoint all the articles links in the show notes from 2019, 2022, 2024, 2025 as well. Entry level hiring by the tech companies have actually dropped 50% since 2019. Refer to the link. More details are already done analysis by someone else. So we'll skip the details actually. Yeah. So the largest tech companies are hiring very far fewer fresh graduates, and it's undermining the promise of an entry level paths. The share of tech job ads requiring greater than 8 years of 7 years of experience rose from 37 percentile to 42 percentile from 2022 to 2025. So more roles are actually shifting towards mid senior level only, squeezing the bottom tier, which means if you are only recruiting those skilled professionals, then yes, you have to give you're unable to give the jobs to the grad and post grad. So no fresher is gonna gain suddenly 5 years of 10 years to meet the particular job requirement. Then yes, there's no wonder why we don't find candidates in the US, and why we have to bring the folks in all these bigger tech companies from international, right? The projection shows that 3 million new job openings per year in US tech occupation through 2034. The volume is there, the job exists, but many are not entry level or entry level jobs at all. That's the problem. This report shows that many grads, especially computer science grads, now face unemployment rates over 6%, double than the some liberal arts majors. Seriously, we have run the stand-up comedy jokes on people who are taking graduations into arts or into UC Berkeley for some music, piano, or whatever it is, right? We made jokes about them, and now jokes on the tech actually. Yeah, the unemployment rate is 6% over them. Even the if you compare to the medical, yes, in the medical it's a different scenario. The number of students who has to graduate are much higher is what we need, but there are lesser students are graduating. But even compared to that as well, unemployment rate is higher among the technology jobs compared to the kids who are lesser kids who are going through the especially the pharma or a healthcare sector. So it's a disruption. Even the tech, which is a hot field, the grads aren't guaranteed to get a jobs. There are very clear indication that the tech postings are getting down, especially post COVID era, right? So number of roles overall has contracted, increasing very high level of competition among experienced professional itself. See, look, while there are hundreds or thousands of the tech jobs openings annually, there are very fewer entry level jobs, and many roles demands years of experience, and which shuts out very recent grad students. See, why this is happening and why this gap is actually widening a lot is companies are actually raising the experience bars. Companies prefer safer bets, hiring those with the track records rather than investing in the freshers. If you go to any developing country, like especially I am from India, India hires tons of resources at entry level, freshers, and also experienced professionals. Problem with the US is they have raised this experience bar so high that they, in order to meet their requirements, only the experienced professionals, which means the entry levels are under the soup, right? Risk aversions and the cost of training. The startup budgets and the corporate HR often don't want or can't afford a ramp up time for the newcomers. And artificial intelligence and automation is also shadowing this gap even much more. Some entry level tasks like simple code or a script, basic data cleaning activities are very increasingly tackled by the artificial intelligence and the machine learning tools, which is gonna reduce in future, not very long future, next 2 to 3 years itself, gonna reduce the demand for a junior labor. So this doesn't eliminate the need for the human developers actually. When you talk any AI machine learning, right? Because the, for experienced professionals using these AI ML tools, their productivity is get going 10x more, 20x more, which means there is shift in the requirement, the which means the experience bar is gonna raise even much higher. That's what the AI and automation is gonna do. Even human is needed in each and every step of that AI workflow which you are creating, those chatbots, those agents, right? Everywhere human is needed. So human is not going anywhere in those AI jobs. But the problem is the experienced professional is the one who gonna run much faster compared to an entry level resource. Yes, AI is a level playing ground for many, but the person who is coming with 10 years of experience, already worked in cybersecurity, already worked in data analytics, data science projects, right? That person utilizing the AI ML tools gonna run much faster than the person who doesn't even understand what is cybersecurity, what is application development, what is production deployment, right? What is data science and all. And there is a mismatch of curriculum and industry needs. So education sometimes, not sometimes, every time, education actually lags behind the tech trends. The graduates might know older technologies, but not the niche frameworks or the cloud ML architecture knowledge companies now expect. Even right now, if you see any postgrad has revised a lot. There are many AI ML courses right now if you prefer to take right now. But problem is, yes, curriculum is there, but at the same time, even for experienced professional, now it is a challenge that the industry is moving much faster in a computer science. Yeah, so that is something common issue for entry level, common issue for experienced professional as well. That the entire industry is running much faster with this AI ML, and especially for the companies, they are going pretty picky, selective hiring, and the brand bias, which is nothing but companies often prioritize their grad from the very elite universities, maybe the top tier Harvard University, MIT, or maybe a level one or Virginia Tech University, right? So they go one level one, but they always look for grads who are from elite universities. Your people are complaining that the international resources are taking their jobs. Do you really think all these international folks have studied their grad and post grad in a very elite university in India, in Russia, in China? No. They came from the tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 colleges. They worked for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years in their field. They gained certain experience. Now they are skilled professionals working on those H1B, L1B jobs, right? The market is cycling much faster, and when the technology bubble actually deflates or the macroeconomic condition headwinds rise, companies has often cut or freeze the junior hiring first. We have seen it much very clearly in last 4 years itself. How hiring was much higher during COVID era, 2020, 2021, 2022, and right after that, boom, down, right? Too many layoffs, then AI, again one more list of layoffs, right? Yeah, I think, sorry if at all today it's sounding more like pinpointing, but it's not really pinpointing. Please maybe ignore my voice, my tone. Just look into the notes, the show notes, go through those links. Pretty good reporting is done by the major news publications already. So please click on those links, go through them, familiarize yourself. Yeah. So what grads and postgrads can do, right? So grads and postgrads, so we need to build a portfolio of a real world projects, not a standard a textbook projects, right? Open source we have to do a lot of open source contributions, submit your projects into a Git, develop some personal apps, develop some data projects, do some internships, even unpaid or a side work. Projects which can actually solve the real world problems, not some toy examples, right? That's what we need to focus now. Learn in demand skills and the tools, the cloud, AWS, Azure, Google, GCP, or AI or machine learning basics. Nowadays, learning that ML and AI is the same level playing ground for both entry level and experienced professionals. So do learn basics and then excel in the ML and AI. So definitely, if you wanna get right now, learn in demand cloud or machine learning or AI based AI skill sets. Or definitely, if you're more into infrastructure skill set or modern frameworks or DevOps tools as well. Yeah. It's up to you whether you want to do certifications. I'll always leave it to the resource to the individual. But do take some boot camps, do gather some micro credentials, and embrace continuous learning because tech evolves pretty faster. And last 5 years, I would say it's running much faster for even for experienced professionals to cope up. Yeah. Target smaller companies because yes, you're spending high tuition fee and all, but you don't try to look for these big tech companies because the big tech companies definitely I'll pinpoint because they are not hiring even the experienced professionals. Their bar is set so high, so high. Yeah. So target some smaller companies, startup, non-tech firms. So these, and I'm really saying none of these are really a rocket science jobs, right? So these roles may have lower brand prestige but offer more flexibilities and opportunities to learn. Many non-tech companies need developers for their automation, internal dashboards, machine learning, any loan accounting small company. Yes, in order to run their accounting business, their general ledger and all, they require some accounting apps. They do require some type of data flows to run. They need to maintain certain databases, data warehouses, data science, right? They need to do some reporting for their business. Then they need to develop some Power BI reports, some uh, right, some tableau reports and all that. So that all needs to happen, right? So do focus on non-tech companies too. They also need developers for their work. Network aggressively, find mentors, use LinkedIn, meetups. Do lot of meetups. As you show to the same meetup group again and again, you're gonna make a very good contacts. Networking is so easy with the meetups. Reach out to the people in your niche, like in your technical area. Ask for code reviews, mock interviews, get into a lot of these demos, free webinar sessions, join those Zoom videos and audios, right? And spend some time in those Q&A in order to gain more additional information. Be flexible in location and remote work. This is true. You have to be flexible because tech is all over the US, right? So don't confine your job search to a top tier cities only. Remote roles open more doors. So be open to a contract, a freelancing gigs to build experience. Once you build that 5 years of experience doing whatever in this IT field, however the smaller the gigs are, once you gain the experience, you will be at least on a level playing field for these tech companies, longer job requirements. Yeah. So show results, not credentials. I will say once again, show results, not credentials. Doing those, mugging up those certification questionnaires, 200 questions, then doing those certifications, no value add, because we very clearly see when we try to uh, hire people with certifications as well, they can't answer an interview for more than 15 minutes, right? So which means you need to focus on those interviews, emphasize on those outcomes, right? Develop your apps, your projects, right? And try to be in a problem solving rather than the completed the course, publishing or the LinkedIn that I completed so and so course. No, that's not going to help anyone, right? So try to be a problem solving while learning those courses. Demonstrate how your work has actually impacted something, however the small or however the big it is, right? Consider non-traditional entry level paths, apprenticeships, technical residencies, or the very boot camp plus internship. Some tech fellowships let you earn while learning to. See, to conclude, what institutions and industries must do, I would say coming to the call, we have to make a systematic change so that certain players from a different background needs to act, or else no US grad is gonna get a job and no international student coming here gonna get a job actually from entry level, right? So universities and college, we have to update the curriculum and partner with the industry, because last 4 years it's running much faster. The change is very frequent. So offer more work integrated learning programs. Yes, don't teach them a simple toy projects, right? Try to solve the real world project implementation, so it's very easier for them to interview later on. Bridge the gap between theory and the current tools. Yes, the even the international postgrad students also, we see a same issue. They do complete computer science postgrad in a machine learning in data science, but they can't clear a simple Python interview, Python developer, data engineer developer, data analyst developer as well. Yeah. So and coming to the tech companies or the recruiters, reevaluate the job descriptions, reduce very arbitrary thresholds, years of experience, brands, schools, or from branded companies, or like branded companies only you're gonna hire, or don't list out 20 bullet points for a simple data analyst role. Yeah, are you serious? Seriously, like that's the job description nowadays. Yeah, use transparency in the hiring pipelines. Publish how many fresh grads you wanna hire. So we're not wasting a person and not really submitting a 300, 400 submissions to get a job. Even government as well. Government should actually step in, incentivize companies to hire entry level talent. Maybe they can push that every organization should have 20% entry level employees, right? Not every 2000 a Twitter X company, everyone is a top performer, right? Or Netflix, right? If the government can pitch in and make companies give some tax credits so that companies can start hiring the entry level students too. So, and government can provide certain courses, support some funds to for tech education as well. To conclude, see, the pathway from student to tech professional is much harder now than before, but it's not impossible. If you are a grad who is struggling, don't give up. Use the strategies what we have discussed, build real work, network, and be persistent. Have you or someone you know faced this challenge? Hit reply or direct message to me or comment. I would love to share those stories in future episodes. So that's all for this week. Thank you everyone. Share, like, subscribe, whatever these days kid says. Stay connected, share ideas, and spread happiness. Bye bye.